All right, hi guys. So you might have noticed in your kit you have a sketchbook. So your first assignment is to create a cover for your sketchbook. Let's talk about sketchbook. So I personally have lots of sketchbooks from over the years. I like to keep them and see like how I've progressed and changed over time. Things that we'll use it for is like obviously sketching. We'll take notes on vocab and things like that, brainstorming new ideas, practicing new materials and techniques. We'll put our rough drafts in here, and you can also use it for your personal stuff. But since everybody's is just blank, we want to make it unique. So we are going to be creating a Zentangle sketchbook cover. So a Zentangle is like doodling, but with mindfulness. So you start with something simple like a grid or polka dots or an X, and then you draw more lines inside of that, and then more lines inside of that, and more lines inside of that, and then eventually you have a complex pattern. So it's all basic, simple shapes, but once you build them inside and inside and inside, then eventually they become really complex. You will repeat them a lot. Sometimes you'll morph it and change it as it goes. And then you also will use Sharpies to vary your thickness on your line. So if you see that on these scales here, different ones look very different in the way that they shaded in with Sharpie. For your sketchbook cover, you're going to choose a theme. So you can choose your favorite place. You could choose a character from a book or a scene from a movie, something like that. If you have a specific sport or hobby that you really like, or you could even do a portrait of you or someone you care about or your pet, whatever you want. Okay, but you have to choose some sort of theme. If you do a portrait, you can use the hair and create patterns within the hair. On this one, the pattern flows around the curves and angles of her face. So you want the pattern to stay in the kind of flow with whatever you're creating. Here we have some scenery, and you'll notice like on the waves, on this lighthouse, the pattern is more waves. So you want the patterns to flow. And on the ground in the background, it looks like grass or something like that. On this one, it has some nice pops of color. You could pick an animal. If you picked an animal, you can always go to Google and look up outline of cat or something like that, and then just fill it in. So like with this eagle hawk thing, you can start with just a basic outline, then add a bunch of feathers, still an outline, and then just use those feather sections to make pattern. And on the giraffe, they use the different sections of the face to add pattern. If you're struggling with a theme, you can use the initial of your first or last name and make it a bubble or block letter. Here we have an N, and then the theme is floral, so they put a bunch of flowers and plants in there. This N down here has a lot of sea creatures and coral and starfish, stuff like that. This one's more geometric, almost like fabric patterns. My expectations for your sketchbook cover is that you'll have a theme. You'll start by drawing the outline, then you'll fill that in with Zentangle. So if you see on my M for monster, I turned my M into a monster, and then I put it in a cave, and then I used every little stalagmite and stalactite to put a new pattern in. And a lot of my patterns, like this, kind of looks like bat wings, and I have ones that look like spider webs and stuff like that look kind of creepy for a monster's cave. After you draw it in pencil and kind of get your bearings on it, then you'll go in with Sharpie. You'll want to do some areas thicker, some areas thinner, and then add a couple pops of color. It doesn't have to be fully colored. And this green one was originally a green piece of paper. That is why it is that. So what I would do is I would open my sketchbook, do a blank page. I don't have any blank pages in that one.